Somewhere between what is real and what should never be remembered, there exists a place where stories are buried, not written in books, not spoken aloud, but passed from fear to fear. These stories were never meant for you. They were locked away, forgotten, sealed behind silence. Every voice you hear belongs to someone who listened too long. Tonight, you will hear what they heard, and once it enters your mind, it doesn't leave. This is your final warning. Welcome to the stories that watch you back.
There are roads in America that never make it onto maps. Not because they're secret, but because people quietly agree not to talk about them. County Route 6 stretched for 32 miles through dead farmland and black forest, a narrow strip of cracked asphalt where headlights seemed to sink instead of shine. During the day, it looked harmless. At night, it felt wrong, like the road was listening. People in Briar Hollow said the same thing about it. The road remembers. Caleb Horn had worked the night shift for 7 years. He logged accidents, dispatched tow trucks, answered emergency calls from drivers who had run out of gas or courage. He knew the rhythm of the dark hours. Midnight was calm. 1 o'clock was dangerous. At 12:54 a.m., the office felt heavier than usual. The fluorescent lights flickered with a tired buzz, and the air smelled faintly of dust and old coffee. Outside the narrow window, the highway disappeared into blackness. Caleb checked the incident log. No calls. No movement. He liked it that way. The clock above the radio clicked softly as the seconds passed. He watched it without meaning to. Everyone on the night shift watched the clock, because everyone knew the rule. At 1:03 a.m., the dead sometimes tried to come home. Caleb had never seen it himself. He'd heard the stories the way you hear rumors about storms that never quite hit your house. Ghost drivers, empty cars, people pulled over on the shoulder, waving politely. Always polite. The first sound came through the radio at 12:58. A single burst of static. Caleb looked up. Radios hissed, crackled, buzzed. But this sounded deliberate. Another burst followed. Then a pause. Then a soft, rhythmic sound filtered through the speaker. Caleb leaned forward. "Dispatch to unit," he said evenly. "Identify yourself." The sound stopped. For a moment, there was nothing but white noise and the hum of the lights overhead. Caleb relaxed slightly. Faulty signal. Old equipment. Then, knock. Not loud. Not aggressive. Careful. Knock. Caleb's jaw tightened. Radios did not knock. His eyes flicked to the clock. 1:01 a.m. The knocking continued, slow and patient, like whoever, or whatever, was on the other end knew it had time. Knock. Knock. Caleb swallowed. Everyone in Briar Hollow knew the rule. It was passed down the way you pass down a family recipe or a warning about thin ice. If the dead knock, never let them finish. He reached for the microphone again, fingers stiff. "County dispatch," he said. "State your emergency." The knocking stopped. The silence that followed felt heavier than the sound ever had. Then the clock clicked forward. 1:03 a.m. The radio crackled to life. A man's voice came through. Soft, calm, and unnervingly close, as if he were standing just on the other side of the wall. "Hello," the voice said. "I think I missed my ride." Caleb felt a chill crawl up his spine. The voice didn't echo. It didn't distort. It didn't sound dead. It sounded polite. "What's your location?" Caleb asked, forcing his training to take over. There was a pause. Not confusion. Consideration. "County Route 6, the voice replied. "By the motel. The one with the broken sign." Caleb closed his eyes. The Briar Motel burned down 12 years ago. Electrical fire. 3 people died. None of the bodies were ever found intact. Caleb slowly turned toward the monitor wall and powered up the remaining highway camera. Most of them were dead feeds. Snow, static, darkness. But camera 6 flickered on. At first, it showed exactly what it should have. An empty lot. Crumbling concrete. Nothing but fog and weeds. Then the image stuttered. The motel appeared. Whole. Standing. Waiting. Lights glowed dimly behind dusty windows. The broken sign flickered weakly, letters buzzing as if struggling to remember their shape. Caleb's breath hitched. The camera zoomed slightly. Someone stood outside room 6. A man. Tall. Thin. Perfectly still. His arm lifted slowly. Knock. The sound came through the radio at the same time. Caleb watched the figure closely. He didn't sway. He didn't breathe. He didn't shift his weight. Living people never stood that still. The camera glitched again. For a fraction of a second, the man's face snapped toward the lens. His eyes were too wide, unblinking. His skin looked stretched, like it didn't quite fit. His mouth curved into a smile that never moved. The radio hissed. "I've been waiting," the voice said. "They never answer anymore." Caleb's hands trembled. "You can't stay there," Caleb said quietly. The figure's knocking stopped. Slowly, unnaturally, the man lowered his arm. "I don't like being ignored," the voice replied. "May I come in now?" The office lights flickered. Caleb slammed his hand down and killed the camera feed. Darkness swallowed the screen. The radio went dead. For several seconds, the office was silent except for Caleb's breathing and the ticking clock overhead. Then, knock. Not from the radio. From behind him. From the dispatch office door. Slow. Polite. Patient. Caleb did not turn around. Caleb Horn did not open the door. He stayed seated, hands flat on the desk as if pinning himself to the world. The dispatch office was small. 2 monitors, an old radio console, a file cabinet that smelled like paper rot, and a window that looked out onto nothing but black highway and fog. It was the kind of office that made the night feel official. Contained. Safe. But the knock had come from the wrong side of the rules. It wasn't on the radio anymore. It wasn't on a motel door 12 years gone. It had been on his door. And now the hallway outside was silent again, as if nothing had happened at all. Caleb's eyes kept slipping to the clock. 1:06 a.m. The time itself felt like a warning sign no one maintained anymore. He took a breath, stood slowly, and crossed to the door. The closer he got, the more he noticed the smell, faint at first, then unmistakable. Wet asphalt. Burned rubber. A metallic tang like a car battery dying. The smell of an accident you arrived too late to prevent. He unlocked the door and pulled it open. The hallway was empty. No shadow. No shape. No retreating footsteps. Only the flicker of the overhead light and the stale odor of the building. Cleaner and bleach and something old. Caleb stepped out anyway, looking left, then right. The corridor led to a storage room and a second exit that nobody used. If someone had been standing there, they had nowhere to go without being seen. Yet there was nothing. No sign of forced entry. No scuff marks. No condensation on the glass. Just silence. He shut the door and locked it again with a little more force than necessary. The click sounded loud. Final. He turned back toward the radio console. The radio cracked once, static like a cough. Caleb froze. Then it came again, clearer. "Dispatch?" A woman's voice whispered. Relief hit him first. Human voice. Trembling. Alive. Caleb grabbed the microphone. "County Dispatch. I read you. What's your location?" I'm on Route 6, she said. "I'm sorry. I don't know if this is an emergency. I need you to tell me what to do." Caleb's throat tightened. "Ma'am, slow down. What's your name?" "Alyssa," she said. "Alyssa Marrow." Caleb's eyes flicked to the logbook. He wrote her name, then forced his voice into that steady tone he'd practiced for years. calm enough to borrow courage from. "Okay, Alyssa." "What happened?" She swallowed audibly. "I was driving. I'm just trying to get home. And someone was on the shoulder." "Were they injured?" Caleb asked. "I don't know," Alyssa whispered. "They were standing. Just standing there like they were waiting. I didn't want to stop. I swear I didn't. But then they knocked." Caleb's fingers tightened on the mic. "Knocked on what?" he asked carefully. "My window," she said. "Passenger side. Like they were at a drive-through. 3 taps. Slow." Caleb's heart thumped once, heavy. "How many knocks?" he asked, even though she'd already said it. 3, Alyssa repeated, voice smaller now, like she could hear the meaning in the number. Caleb closed his eyes. In Briar Hollow, people didn't gossip about ghosts like it was entertainment. They talked about them the way farmers talked about whether that could ruin a year. Quietly, precisely, with rules. And the clearest rule was the one nobody liked saying out loud: if the dead knock, never let them finish. Because 3 knocks weren't just a request. They were a completed ritual. A finished sentence. Caleb forced his eyes open. "Alyssa, listen to me. Do not look at the passenger. Keep your eyes on the road." "I already did," she whispered. Caleb didn't respond immediately. Silence was sometimes the only honest thing you could offer. "He looked normal," Alyssa said quickly, like she needed to justify herself. "Like someone's brother, someone's dad. He looked cold, and he smiled just a little. Not friendly, not mean. Like he was being polite." Caleb's skin crawled at the word. Polite. "Is he inside the car?" Caleb asked. Another swallow. "Yes." "How did he get in?" A long pause. "I don't know," Alyssa said. "I unlocked the door. I think I did. I must have. But I don't remember seeing him open it. 1 second he was outside, and then he was just sitting here. Like he'd always been here." Caleb stared at the camera monitor wall. Most of the highway feeds were dead. A few worked when they wanted to, like old men waking up for the wrong reasons. He switched to camera 6. Static. He tapped the console. The image jerked, then steadied. A sedan crawled through fog. Caleb's breath caught. It matched Alyssa's car, a dark-colored compact with a cracked left tail light. He could see the driver, her posture stiff, chin lifted, eyes locked forward like she was afraid of her own peripheral vision. And in the passenger seat, a man, upright and still. Too still. His hands were folded neatly in his lap. His head was angled slightly toward Alyssa, as if listening with patient attention. Not staring. Not leering. Waiting. "Alyssa," Caleb said softly. "Do not pull over. Do not stop. Keep moving." "I can hear him," Alyssa whispered. "Hear him talking?" "No," she said, voice shaking. "Just hear him. Like you can hear someone standing behind you even if they're quiet." Caleb watched the passenger on the screen. The man didn't blink. Not once. "You're doing great," Caleb said, because sometimes lies were a life raft. "Keep breathing. Stay in your lane." "I don't hear him breathing," Alyssa whispered. "I don't hear anything from him. And the car feels colder." Caleb's eyes went to the temperature sensor on his console, useless from this distance, but he looked anyway, like the act might make logic appear. "Alyssa," he said carefully, "I need you to answer one question. Did he knock 3 times on your window, or did he knock 3 times on the door?" "What?" she whispered. "It matters," Caleb said. He didn't know why it mattered, not really. But the old stories always cared about exact details. Ghost rules were picky like that. Alyssa's breath came faster. On the window. Like a person asking for service. Caleb's mouth went dry, because that sounded like someone who expected to be answered. The radio hissed faintly, a layered sound under Alyssa's voice, like a second line open. Caleb leaned closer to the speaker. "Alyssa," he said, "do you have your radio on?" "No," she whispered. "Just you." The hiss grew, then stopped. Then, a soft voice spoke over Alyssa's line, as if joining a call politely. "Hello," the voice said.
"Come, mail, clothes."
Caleb's blood went cold. Alyssa gasped, and for the first time her voice broke into panic. He's talking now. Don't respond," Caleb snapped. "Alyssa, do not answer him." The voice continued, as if it hadn't heard Caleb at all. "I'm sorry," it said. "I don't usually frighten people. I'm just late." Alyssa made a strangled sound. Caleb kept his eyes on the monitor. The passenger's mouth didn't move on camera, yet the voice sounded like it was coming from inside Alyssa's car. "Sir," Caleb said into the mic, knowing how foolish it was and unable to stop himself. "Identify yourself." A pause. Then, pleasant as a customer at a counter, "I think I missed my ride," the voice said. "This one stopped." That was kind. The sedan's speed decreased slightly on camera, as if Alyssa's foot was easing off the gas without her deciding to. "Alyssa," Caleb barked. "Keep driving." "I'm trying," she whispered. "My leg feels heavy." The passenger turned his head slowly toward the windshield. The movement was wrong. Too smooth. Like a mannequin guided by invisible string. On the monitor, his smile widened. Barely. It wasn't a predator's grin. It was worse. It was grateful. "Thank you," the voice said. Alyssa's breathing turned into quiet sobs. The car drifted toward the shoulder. "No," Caleb said through clenched teeth. No, Alyssa, fight it. Don't stop." Alyssa's voice came faintly. "It feels like when you're almost asleep, and you can't move." The sedan's right tires touched gravel. The interior dome light flicked on. The car stopped. Caleb's chest tightened until it hurt. On camera, Alyssa sat frozen behind the wheel. The passenger remained perfect and still. Then the passenger door opened. But the passenger did not get out. Instead, the darkness inside the car deepened, as if the interior was not a space but a doorway. Something leaned forward. Not a new creature. Not claws. Not a monster. Just depth. A shape that made the car look like a mouth. The camera glitched hard. Static exploded across the screen, then swallowed the feed entirely. Caleb slammed the console with his palm, shouting, "Camera 6, come back!" The radio went quiet. Then a slow breath came through, and the familiar voice returned, calm and polite as ever. "Thank you for waiting," it said. She drove very well. Caleb stared at the dead monitor. "Where is she?" he demanded. A pause, as if the voice was carefully choosing words that wouldn't upset him. "On the road," it said. "Where she was going." Caleb's stomach dropped. "That's not an answer," he snapped. "It is," the voice replied. "You just don't like it." The line clicked off. Caleb sat very still, listening to his own heartbeat. Outside the window, the fog thickened, crawling across the ground like something alive. And then the phone rang. The phone kept ringing. Caleb let it ring twice, 3 times, before he forced himself to pick up. "County Dispatch," he said. A man answered, voice strained. "I'm on Route 6. I'm not supposed to be on Route 6. My GPS, it rerouted me. It said it was faster. It's not faster. Nothing is moving." Caleb's eyes flicked to the clock. 1:29 a.m. "Sir, what's your name?" Caleb asked. "Grant," the man replied. "Grant Yates." Caleb wrote it down. "Grant, are you safe? Are you in your vehicle?" "Yes," Grant said. "But there's someone in the road." Caleb's spine tightened. "Do not stop for them." "I didn't," Grant said quickly. "I swear I didn't. I slowed, I rolled past, but they moved." They stepped closer, and they knocked. Caleb inhaled through his nose. "How many?" he asked. Grant's voice dropped. "3." Caleb's eyes went distant. "Do not look at them. Keep driving. Do not let them talk to you. Do not answer any questions." Grant laughed once, shaky. "You sound like you've done this before." "I've heard it before," Caleb said. Grant's breathing came ragged. "They're walking beside the car." Caleb's stomach turned. "Beside the car?" "Yeah," Grant whispered. "Like they're keeping pace. I'm going 30. They're just there, right outside my window." Caleb turned to the monitors and cycled feeds. Camera 4, static. Camera 5, dead. Camera 6, black. Camera 7, flicker, then a washed-out image. Route 6 appeared, swallowed in fog. And there, moving slowly along the shoulder, was a figure. Just a human silhouette, slightly too tall, coat hanging wrong on a frame that didn't seem to shift with motion. It walked like a memory of walking. Grant's voice rose a fraction. "It's smiling." Caleb's mouth went dry. "Do not acknowledge it." "I didn't," Grant whispered. "But it keeps turning its head like it expects me to." A soft tap sounded through Grant's phone line, faint but audible. Then another. Then a third. Caleb's blood went cold. That knock wasn't on the window. It was on the call itself. Grant sucked in a breath. "Did you hear that?" Caleb leaned closer to the receiver. "Grant, hang up." "What?" "Hang up now," Caleb repeated. "Do not keep the line open." Grant's voice trembled. "But you're the only." A second voice joined the call, as naturally as someone stepping into a room. "Hello," it said pleasantly. Grant made a strangled noise. Caleb's chest tightened. "Who is this?" The voice sounded like it was smiling when it spoke. "I'm just trying to get home," it said. "It's very kind of you to wait." Caleb clenched his jaw. "Grant, do not respond," Grant whispered. "It's in the back seat." Caleb's eyes snapped to camera 7. On the grainy screen, Grant's vehicle appeared, a pickup creeping through fog. Inside, Grant's hands were visible on the wheel. And in the back seat, a shadow.
Phil.
Smiling, though the resolution was too low to see it clearly, Caleb somehow knew the expression anyway. The shape didn't move, yet the interior felt crowded, as if the cab was full of quiet attention. Grant's voice shook. "I didn't stop. I didn't let it in." The polite voice answered for him. "You slowed," it said. "That's close enough." Caleb's mouth went numb, because the rules were changing. Or maybe they'd never been rules at all, just misunderstandings people told themselves so they could sleep. "Grant," Caleb said quickly, "focus on me. Look at the road. Drive to the next intersection. Do not take any turns. Do not follow signs. Do not follow your GPS. Keep straight." Grant breathed hard. "There's no intersection." "There is," Caleb insisted, "because there used to be." "Keep going." On camera, Grant's truck crawled forward. Fog thickened, swallowing the tail lights behind him. The road ahead looked blank. No lines, no reflectors, no mile markers. Just a strip of dark that pretended to be pavement. Grant's voice went small. "My headlights feel dim." "They are," Caleb said softly, unable to stop the honesty. "The fog eats light." Grant swallowed. "Why?" Caleb didn't answer. Because he was watching something he'd never seen before. The passenger side door of Grant's truck was closed, and yet a pale hand appeared on the inside of the glass, pressing outward, like someone behind a window. Then it tapped. Once, twice, 3 times. Grant whimpered. "It's knocking from inside." Caleb's stomach twisted. The rule had never said what to do if the knock came from inside you. The polite voice spoke again, gentle as a friend. "You're doing so well," it said to Grant. "Almost there." Grant's voice rose, desperate. "Where is there?" The voice paused, considering. Then, Where the road ends, it said. Caleb felt his hands tremble. Grant gasped. My mirrors. What about them? Caleb demanded. They're full of headlights, Grant whispered. But there's no cars behind me. It's just lights and faces. Caleb switched camera feeds rapidly. Camera 3, somehow alive for a moment, showed Route 6 behind Grant. And it was filled with vehicles. Not speeding, not chasing, crawling forward in a slow, orderly line. A procession. Inside each car sat a driver, stiff, quiet, eyes forward. And in each passenger seat sat someone calm, pale, smiling softly. They were not attacking. They were arriving. Caleb's throat tightened. The dead had learned a new method. They weren't only waiting on shoulders. They were riding in lines, using the living like ferries. Grant whispered, "They're behind me like a parade." Caleb's voice went low. "Grant, don't stop." Grant let out a broken laugh. "I can't even if I wanted to." On camera, Grant's truck continued forward at the same speed, as if the vehicle had decided for him. His brake lights never brightened. Grant said, "My foot isn't moving." The polite voice hummed softly, pleased. Then it said, "You were chosen because you can hold a line." Caleb's mouth went dry. "Chosen for what?" The voice answered Caleb now, as if graciously including him. "To guide them," it said. "Someone has to lead. Someone always leads." Caleb's blood ran cold, because he realized what it meant. This was bigger than a few ghosts looking for rides. This was a system. A ritual repeated nightly, building a slow river of souls down a road that no longer belonged to the living. Grant's voice cracked. "I see the motel sign." Caleb froze. "The Briar Motel?" Grant whispered. "Yeah, it's lit." Caleb's stomach dropped. That motel was ashes and weeds. It shouldn't exist on any camera, in any headlight beam. But on camera 7, faintly through the fog, a sign flickered. Briar MOT, the last letters were dead. A warm yellow light glowed from a window that didn't exist. Grant's voice rose. "I don't want to go there." The polite voice became almost tender. "You already are," it said. Grant began to sob. "Please." Caleb leaned into the microphone, voice harsh. "Grant, listen. If you can do anything, anything at all, do not answer questions. Do not agree to anything. Do not say, okay. Do not say, yes. Do you understand?" Grant choked out, "Yes." Caleb's eyes widened. The line went silent. Not cut. Not dead. Just listening. Then the polite voice returned, quietly triumphant. "Thank you," it said. "That's all we needed." Caleb's stomach turned to ice. On camera, Grant's truck turned, without signaling, without slowing, into the motel lot. It parked neatly. The procession of cars behind him slowed and followed, one by one, perfect spacing, like vehicles obeying a traffic law from another world. The motel windows glowed brighter. Passenger doors opened in unison up and down the line. Not violently, not hurried. As if everyone had been waiting their whole lives for this appointment. Grant's door opened. He stepped out. His movements were stiff, like sleepwalking. He stood in the fog, staring at the motel entrance. Caleb shouted, "Grant! Grant! Look at me! Look at the road! Run!" Grant did not react. Beside him, a shape stepped out of the passenger seat. Tall, pale, still smiling. The shape placed a gentle hand on Grant's shoulder and guided him toward the motel door. The camera feed trembled, as if whatever power was there disliked being watched. The image blurred, then snapped to black. Caleb stared at the dead screen, chest heaving. Outside the dispatch office window, headlights appeared in the fog. One car, then another, then many more, moving slowly past the building, each carrying a silent passenger. Caleb turned to the locked door and heard it from the hallway. A careful sound, right outside. Knock. A pause. Knock. A pause. And then, politely, as if following procedure, knock. Caleb's mouth went dry. Because now he knew the worst truth. The dead weren't only knocking on windows and doors. They were knocking on systems. Phones. Radios. Cameras. Anything that connected one person to another. And Caleb Horn's job, his entire life, was built on answering. By 2:02 a.m., County Route 6 no longer behaved like a road. It still looked like one, blacktop, faded yellow lines, shoulder gravel, but it had stopped functioning as a passage from one place to another. Cars entered it, but none exited. Calls came in from drivers who swore they had been traveling for hours without passing a single new landmark. The road had become a loop. Caleb Horn sat in the dispatch office with the radio volume turned all the way down, yet he could still feel it listening. The phones rang in irregular patterns now, not frantic, not steady, thoughtful, as if something else were deciding who was allowed to speak next. He answered one. "County Dispatch," Caleb said. A man replied, breathless, "I've passed the same sign 3 times." Caleb's eyes went to the monitors. "Which sign?" "The one that says, Briar Hollow, 5 miles, the man said. "Except, the 5 is scratched out. It just says, Briar Hollow." Caleb's stomach tightened. "That sign shouldn't exist anymore," he said. "It does," the man insisted. "And it's closer every time." The line went dead. Caleb didn't hang up right away. He waited, listening. A soft hiss crept through the speaker. Then, faintly, like someone leaning close to a microphone without touching it. "You're hearing us more clearly now," the polite voice said. Caleb gripped the edge of the desk. "What is this place?" There was a pause. Not dramatic, not threatening. Reflective. "It's where unfinished things wait," the voice replied. The road learned how. The monitors flickered. Camera 6 came back online without warning. What it showed made Caleb's chest feel hollow. Route 6 stretched forward, unnaturally straight, disappearing into fog so thick it erased the horizon. Trees along the roadside leaned inward, frozen mid-sway, as if caught between moments. Cars lined the shoulder in perfect spacing, dozens of them, all idling, all occupied. Inside each vehicle sat a driver, hands on the wheel, eyes open but unfocused. And beside every driver sat a passenger, calm, pale, waiting. No one moved. No one struggled. The road wasn't trapping them by force. It was holding them. "You see," the voice continued, "we don't rush anyone. Rushing makes people afraid." Caleb swallowed. "Then why won't you let them leave?" A soft sound came through the radio. Not a laugh. More like amusement. "They already left," the voice said. "This is what's left behind." The office lights dimmed. Caleb stood. "You're lying." The monitors glitched. For a brief second, the reflection in the dark screen showed not the office, but the road stretching behind him. "You stayed," the voice said gently. "That matters." Caleb's mind flashed backward. A winter night. A call that came too late. A truck jackknifed on black ice. A woman screaming through static as her car slid off the shoulder. Caleb remembered the clock that night. 1:03 a.m. He remembered choosing not to wake the supervisor, not to escalate, not to panic. He remembered telling himself there was nothing he could do. "You listened to us," the voice continued, "even when you couldn't help." The floor beneath Caleb's feet felt cold. He looked down. The carpet was gone. Asphalt stretched beneath him, cracked and damp, reflecting distant headlights. Fog curled around his ankles like breath. The dispatch office dissolved. Caleb stood on County Route 6. The air smelled of rain and metal. The silence was enormous, broken only by the low hum of engines idling somewhere nearby. Cars surrounded him now, rows of them, parked neatly along the shoulder. He walked between them slowly, afraid to touch anything. Inside one car sat a teenage boy, eyes glassy, hands gripping the wheel. In the passenger seat sat a woman with a gentle smile. Caleb recognized her. She was from the accident. The winter call. "You remember me," she said softly, without moving her lips. Caleb staggered back. "You died." "Yes," she replied. "But I didn't arrive." She gestured down the road. Fog parted slightly, revealing a stretch of pavement that seemed older than the rest. Darker, smoother, as if worn by countless feet. "That's where it ends," she said. Caleb shook his head. "Ends where?" She smiled kindly. "That depends on who's driving." A car engine started nearby. Headlights flared to life, cutting through the fog. The vehicle rolled forward slowly, tires crunching softly on gravel. The passenger door was open, waiting. Caleb did not get into the car. He stepped back, heart pounding, as the headlights washed over him, bleaching the fog into pale curtains. The interior of the vehicle was clean, warm-looking, inviting in a way that felt deeply wrong. "I'm not going," he said aloud. The polite voice responded from everywhere at once. "You already did," it said. The car behind him rolled forward. Then another. Then many more. The procession moved without urgency, each vehicle maintaining perfect distance from the next. Engines hummed softly, like breathing. Caleb turned slowly, realizing the truth. The road wasn't looping. It was collecting. Every mile marker, every repeated sign, every detour. It was a net, gently guiding the unfinished toward a single place. The motel. The Briar Motel stood ahead now, fully formed, lights glowing warmly through fog that parted around it like respect. The broken sign buzzed faintly, letters flickering as if trying to remember their order. Cars turned into the lot one by one. Drivers stepped out when their doors opened, not in panic, not in confusion. They moved like people responding to something familiar. Passengers emerged with them, guiding hands placed lightly on shoulders, backs, elbows. No chains, no force, just certainty. Caleb watched a man hesitate at the motel steps. "I don't want to forget," the man whispered. The passenger beside him smiled softly. "You won't. You'll just stop waiting." They went inside. The doors closed. The light inside the motel brightened. The road behind Caleb rumbled softly. He turned, and saw it clearly now. The asphalt itself was changing. Cracks rearranged. Lines faded and reappeared. The road wasn't a static thing. It was alive in a slow, geological way, shaped by repetition, memory, regret. "It learned from us," the voice said. "From how we waited. From how we stayed." Caleb backed away until he felt something solid behind him. A car. The passenger door opened beside him. Interior light on. Waiting. "Why me?" Caleb asked hoarsely. The voice softened. "Because you answer." Caleb laughed weakly. "That's it. That's everything," the voice replied. "You never stopped listening, even when you should have left." The door creaked slightly as if encouraging him. Caleb looked back at the motel, at the road, at the endless line of cars still approaching from the fog. He understood now what the dead wanted. Not revenge, not terror, not blood, completion. And the road, patient, obedient, was happy to provide it. Caleb stepped away from the car. The polite voice paused. "That's not how this ends," it said. Caleb turned toward the motel instead. "I won't drive them," he said. "I won't lead them." The fog shifted. For the first time, something like uncertainty rippled through the air. "You don't have to," the voice said carefully. "You just have to stay." The ground trembled faintly. Caleb felt the weight of it then, the truth buried under years of night shifts and unanswered calls. The road didn't need drivers. It needed witnesses. People who stayed long enough to hear the knocking. People who never left. The motel doors opened again. Light spilled out. Inside, shapes waited. The radio crackled in Caleb's pocket, somehow there, warm against his leg. A call came through. Another driver. Another knock. Caleb closed his eyes and answered. Caleb answered the call. He didn't remember lifting the radio. He didn't remember pressing the button. One moment the device was hanging at his side, warm and humming like a living thing, and the next, the voice was already there. "County Dispatch," Caleb said automatically. The words felt old, worn smooth by years of use. On the other end, a young man spoke, breath shaky. "Hi. I think I'm lost." Caleb closed his eyes. "What's your location?" he asked. "I don't know," the man replied. "My GPS stopped working. Everything just says Route 6. Caleb looked down the road. Fog rolled endlessly in both directions now, swallowing cars as they arrived, releasing none as they passed. Headlights drifted like fireflies trapped in glass. "You're not lost," Caleb said quietly. "You're early." The man laughed nervously. "That's not funny." "I know," Caleb said. "I'm sorry." A pause. "Is someone there with you?" the man asked. Caleb didn't answer, because he could hear it now, not through the radio, not through the wind, but through the road itself. Knocking. Not sharp, not loud, measured. The sound of someone who knew they would be heard. "You're going to see someone on the shoulder," Caleb said. "They'll look normal, tired, polite." The man's breathing quickened. "How do you, when they knock?" Caleb continued. "Don't let them finish." Another pause. "What if they already did?" the man whispered. Caleb's chest tightened. "Then keep driving," he said. "No matter what." The man's voice trembled. "I don't think I can." Caleb looked toward the motel. The Briar Motel stood solid now, no longer flickering, its lights warm and steady like a promise. People moved in and out of it calmly. Drivers, passengers, memories, guided gently by hands that had waited a long time. "You don't have to be brave," Caleb said. "Just don't stop." The radio crackled softly. A second voice slipped in, smooth as a practiced habit. "He's already stopped," it said. The young man gasped. "Who is that?" Caleb felt the weight of the moment settle fully into him. "That," he said, "is why I'm still here." The polite voice turned its attention to Caleb now, closer than ever before. "You're doing very well," it said. "You've learned how to speak for the road." Caleb swallowed. "I won't do this forever." The voice paused. Then gently, "You already are." The man on the line whispered, "It's knocking." Caleb closed his eyes. "How many?" he asked. "3," the man replied. Caleb exhaled slowly. "Then listen," he said. "When it asks you where you're going, don't answer." The knocking stopped. For a moment, there was hope. Then the man spoke again, voice distant. "It didn't ask," he said. "It just smiled." The radio clicked. The line stayed open, but empty. Caleb lowered the radio. Another car pulled into the motel lot. Another set of doors opened. Another journey ended. The polite voice spoke again, almost reverent now. "You see," it said, "no one is afraid anymore." Caleb looked at the road, at the endless arrivals, the quiet acceptance, the way the fog seemed to cradle every vehicle like a lullaby. "This isn't peace," he said. "It's resignation." The voice replied softly, "That's what peace looks like, when waiting finally ends." The motel doors closed. The road hummed, and the knocking changed. It no longer came from doors or windows. It came from the distance. Caleb noticed the sky first, not because it lightened, but because it didn't. Time passed. He could feel it in his bones, in the way exhaustion crept through him like cold water. Yet the horizon remained locked in the same deep, starless blue-black. No dawn, no birds, no sense of forward motion. The road no longer needed night. Cars still arrived, but fewer now. Those who came did so without calling, without hesitation. They pulled over when they were supposed to. They waited when they were supposed to. The knocking had become rare, because everyone already knew. Caleb stood near the motel steps, radio resting at his side. He didn't try to leave. He understood now why no one ever had. Leaving required forgetting, and the road did not forgive forgetfulness. A woman approached him slowly. She looked alive, warm skin, tired eyes, breath visible in the cool air. "Are you the one?" she asked. "The one what?" Caleb replied. "The one who answers," she said. Caleb nodded. She glanced back at her car. In the passenger seat sat a man, pale and calm, hands folded neatly. "He didn't knock," she said. "He just waited." Caleb felt something break quietly inside him. "That means you saw him before he needed to ask," Caleb said. "What happens now?" she asked. Caleb looked at the motel doors. "They'll open," he said. "You'll go inside, and you won't be late anymore." She frowned. "And you?" Caleb smiled faintly. "I already arrived." The polite voice spoke, not from the radio now, but from the walls, the ground, the air itself. "You've done well," it said. "The road no longer needs to teach. It remembers on its own." Caleb felt the truth settle. The ghosts hadn't built the road. The road had learned them. Learned how people waited. Learned how people hoped. Learned how people listened for something that never came. And now it spoke in knocks. The motel doors opened one final time. Inside, the light was not blinding, not consuming, just complete. The woman took a breath, then stepped forward. Her passenger followed, hand resting gently at her back. The doors closed. Silence fell. For the first time, the road stopped humming. Caleb stood alone. The fog thinned. Cars no longer appeared from the distance. Route 6 stretched ahead, still long, still empty, but quiet in a way it had never been before. The polite voice spoke one last time. "You may go," it said. Caleb considered it. He thought of the office, the radio, the clock frozen at 1:03 a.m. He thought of every knock he'd answered. "No," Caleb said. "Someone has to stay, in case it starts again." The voice did not argue. It simply faded. Caleb walked back toward the dispatch office, which now stood whole again at the edge of the road, as if it had never left. Inside, the lights flickered on. The clock ticked. 1:02 a.m. The radio crackled softly. Caleb sat down. Outside, the road waited. And somewhere far away, where maps still worked and morning still came, a driver would one day hesitate on a shoulder, would hear a knock, and wonder if anyone was listening. The radio clicked. Caleb leaned forward. "County Dispatch," he said calmly. "I'm here."
Before you go, look around the room for a moment. The story may have stopped here. If any of these stories stayed with you, you're not alone. Comment below the moment that made you pause, the part you can't stop thinking about, or the timestamp that felt too real. And if you don't want to face nights like this alone, subscribe now. New true horror stories every night, longer, darker, and closer to home. Turn off the lights, keep the volume low, and check your surroundings one last time. Good night.